Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tell Your Story. I went blank there for a second. I was like, what am I doing? This is episode 16 of Tell Your Story. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us week after week as I introduce you to people who have either inspired me, challenged me, or I just fell in love with different parts of their story and wanted to have them on here so that you could meet them in hopes that you would connect and learn from them as well. My guest this week, I'm so thrilled that she made time and came on, and that is Holly Ehle. Holly, thank you so much for being here this week.
Hey, I'm so excited. I'm so humbled that you asked. So it's my pleasure.
Well, I'm thrilled to introduce you to some more people. So, Holly, for those who may not know who you are or what you do, kind of introduce yourself a little bit.
Hello, my name is Holly Ehle, and I'm a teacher. I am a primary teacher, probably by heart. And so I'm currently teaching kind of a unique program, and it's for kindergarten age kiddos. It's actually, we call it the LEAP program, and it stands for Learning, Enrichment, and Achievement Program. And it's a really unique program at our school. We're pretty proud of it. We kind of just created it and developed it on our own. That's probably most similar to almost like a transitional kindergarten type of program. It's for kiddos who are kindergarten age. We work on kindergarten standards, those types of things, but they all have individualized like learning plans, and they go 4 days a week, and half of the day really focuses on social emotional types of focuses, and then the other half of the day, which is my focus, is math, science, and language arts, reading, all that kind of stuff.
So you're a teacher. You do so much more than just being in the education field. And one of those things is you have a kind of a little conference that you started that is the Spring Teacher Retreat. So talk to me a little bit about like where that idea came from and kind of what it's become now.
Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay, so I love my little, actually my huge teacher community. And it probably started, probably 10, 12 years ago when I would attend the National SDE I Teach K conference every summer in Las Vegas, and I started to connect with different teachers online, and then we would meet up there every summer, and there would just be a huge group of us. So it was like this annual reunion there, and I just loved that feeling of community. Well, we kind of started, I think it was maybe Rochelle Smith that started in the blog hopping group, started a meetup there for teacher bloggers. And it just filled my soul to meet other like-minded teachers. I mean, I taught in a school obviously surrounded by teachers, but sometimes they don't necessarily think exactly like you do, or they're teaching different grade levels. And so I just loved connecting with other teachers that I could share ideas with. And then, so it kind of, the idea, my love for that started there.
Right.
But then, oh my gosh, it was probably 7 years ago. My friend Elizabeth Hall from Kicking It in Kindergarten and Greg Smedley from Kindergarten Smorgasbord decided to have like a mini meetup in Nashville. And Elizabeth's like, come down here. And I was like, sure, it's only a 7-hour drive. So I drove down there and we met up. There were probably about 30 teachers there. And it just was a day that filled my cup as a teacher. We just shared ideas. They had collected some freebies there. And I am like, this was such an incredible experience. I want to bring this back for teachers in my area. And so that 7-hour drive home, I planned, what was I going to do? And I started calling places and found a great location in the beautiful French Lick resort. And they just love teachers. And so I decided to plan a spring teacher retreat, because in the spring, teachers just get like burnout and need a little oomph to get through the rest of the year. So I just kind of put it out on Facebook and shared it with my friends and expected just local people from Indiana to come. The first year we had 52 people from Indiana and a few from Illinois and a few from Tennessee. And we just shared ideas. We literally had a projector. We told everybody to bring their computers, and we would have people come up to the podium, hook their computers up, and share something they were passionate about. It was awesome. I had contacted all these educational sponsors, and so I was able to give a ton of freebies away. The whole point of that was to give back to teachers who work so hard all year long. I know how hard teachers work, and I know it can be thankless. I know our pay doesn't reflect our effort, and I just wanted to just say thank you and give back to teachers. It was an amazing year, and that's how it started. The next year, I think we had 150. Then we went to 250. Every year we've like pretty much doubled, and so now, usually we're between 600 and 750 teachers that come to the retreats, and from all over. They fly in from everywhere, so it's great.
And, I mean, I'm sure it's one of those things that you were like, you never expected it to become what it is now.
No, when I originally planned it, I was going to be ecstatic if 25 people showed up. So that first year when 52 people, I was like, yes, this is great. Never envisioned this. And it has grown into this amazing event. And I am not saying that because I started it, because let me tell you, I do not pull this off alone now. I have an amazing planning team of about 6 teachers who've been there from the very beginning, and we are so different, but we perfectly complement each other. And now we're able to do a couple special things. So if you're watching, we want you to join us this year. We invite teachers to come in Friday night or Saturday, and we want to provide a retreat weekend. It's not a conference, it's a retreat, like an inspirational retreat with some PD. So Saturday morning, we bring everybody in. We offer an amazing keynote speaker. Last year we had Hope and Wade King, who were phenomenal. The year prior to that, we had Principal Gary Brooks come in, and so we do a great keynote. Then we break into mini sessions, and this is one of my favorite parts because I believe every teacher has value. And I love social media and how social media has connected teachers. But sometimes some people go on to listen to other people and might not feel like they have value. So one of the things that we always do at the retreat is ask for presenters to do, bigger sessions and mini sessions. So people who've never presented but kind of want to get into it, we give them the opportunity to present mini sessions. And we just provide, I don't even know how many, 60, I don't know, or more sessions that people can choose from and count for professional development. And so we do that throughout the day on Saturday, and then we break for dinner, and then they come back for my favorite part. It's called the Saturday Night Social. And
I've got to say, if people haven't heard of this conference, that was the first thing that I saw. I was like, oh, a spring teacher retreat. What's that? And then I see these amazing photos from the Saturday night event, and I'm thinking, God, it really is like a time for teachers to just get away. It's not your typical let's go to a conference kind of thing. It really is designed like a retreat because y'all go all out for that Saturday night event.
Well, the whole point of the weekend is, like I said, to remind you what's fun about your job, about why you fell in love with education, to re-inspire you, to connect you with other teachers, to let you feel like a kid again. And so every Saturday night social is set that way. One year we had an 80s event. One year we had a red carpet event where you dressed up like your favorite celebrity, because how often do we get to dress up fancy when we're teachers? Last year we had a crazy murder mystery party for 700 people. This year we have a good one, but I can't announce it yet. But if you follow us on Instagram at the Spring Teacher Retreat, or we also have a website, those things will be announced really soon. But I'm so excited because it's gonna be a blast. And one of our sponsors, ESGI, whom we love, they sponsor a live stream. So if you can't be there, you can watch it.
Yeah, because I couldn't be there last year, but I watched it, and I was just so jealous because it looks like so much fun out there.
It is fun.
we talk about this whole retreat and the work that obviously you have to put in to make something like this happen. And I love that, you make these connections online and in these communities, and then you get to meet these people face to face, and it's just like they're your lifelong friends. Then
Yes.
many of them, it's like the first time you've met, and then it's just like immediate bond, and it just makes
Yes.
these things so much more special. But Holly, one thing that I have always been most impressed by you and most amazed. I mean, honestly, I adore you, and there's like 20 things I could list that I'm just like bow down to Holly. But one of them is, you do a lot of work with Get Your Teach On, the conference that was started by Hope King and Deanna Jump. And what I really admire is you do all of it behind the scenes. You don't do it for any recognition. You don't advertise that you're doing it, and like people come and see me, people come and say this to me, people come. It's like I'm here, and when I did Get Your Teach On at the national conference, every time I turned around, you were there going, "What do y'all need? What can I do? I'll go grab this. I'll go do this." I mean, running around like crazy, and nobody even knows it. Like nobody even sees the work that goes on behind the scenes. But you do that knowing that there may be no recognition, and that's totally fine with you. How did that come to be? And sometimes in our field now, with social media being so ever present, people are always looking to be the next big thing, and they're always looking to get their name out there. But I think what draws people into you is just that genuine, I just love teaching. I just love being around educators, and I just love helping. So how did they get your, I know I just did a lot of stuff there, but how did they get your Teach On, the background stuff that you do, how did that come to be?
Well, first of all, kind of to back reference one of the things that I said about going to summer conferences for years. Well, Deanna and Hope were some of my really good friends that we would meet up every summer, and actually Get Your Teach On came to be one day when we were at lunch one summer, and they were talking about their kind of like dreams and aspirations for professional development. And then literally like within the next 3 hours, they had the name, the website, boom, boom, boom. And so I love their vision. I'm obsessed with professional development. Anybody who knows me, I could be in college forever. If I have free time, I almost never watch television. I would rather read a professional development book and listen to an audiobook like all the time. And so that is just a passion. And so as soon as I knew they were moving on that, I'm like, how can I help you? How can I support you? And I just wanted to serve. I know how our teachers work, and the more we can provide for teachers, I just want to be part of that. And the more that we can improve education for kids. And so kind of just over time, it went from, helping great friends with an amazing mission to I'm the full-blown Get Your Teach On sponsorship director now, and help on site with, just whatever needs to be helped with there. And I love serving. I'm not great at maybe anything, but I certainly love to help, and it fills me up. I feel like teachers deserve the best, and it's about them. And so it's my privilege. It's my privilege to be able to serve any way that I can. So,
well, you can tell that you really have a gift for connecting with people in such a genuine way. I mean, I feel like you remind me of, another one person that I really respect that has that quality is Kim Bearden. And it's like when you talk to Kim, or when I talk to you, I mean, I feel like in that moment, you're the most important person in the room. It's like, hey, I'm talking to you right now. I'm totally dealing with you. I care. I'm not faking this. Like, that's the kind of vibe you put off. And, that's not widely seen by tons of people. And so I think that's why people are naturally drawn to wanting to be wherever you are kind of thing. But, that was one of the reasons why I had to have you on, because I was like, God, Holly does so much and you never seek recognition. And that is so admirable, because you could really seek and get recognition for the stuff that you do, but that's not why you do it. And I think that comes off with what you do. And so I think that's something a lot of people, and even I myself included at times, can learn from, is how to have that servant spirit. Do you ever find, though, that like serving all the time and giving of yourself, how do you refill your own cup?
That might be a challenge of mine. First of all, I have to say that was the things that you just said, probably one of the greatest compliments I've ever received. So I'm sitting here trying not to cry at the same time, because I absolutely adore Kim Bearden, and I read her books over and over again, and she is just such an inspirational mentor to me. So thank you for that compliment. I will treasure that. I do struggle sometimes. I am naturally the type of person that doesn't like to sit still. I do not do that very well. So I'm pretty much always on the go, but that makes me happy. I feel like that God has blessed me with, I don't know necessarily I would call them talents, just physical abilities. I'm here. I got up this morning, and so, I just want to give God the glory by serving him in any way that I can. I get filled up by giving to other people. I don't know.
And and some people are like, no, like, what do you really do? And I know what you mean. You're like, when I serve, that refuels me.
It does.
It's exhausting and it's hard, but at the same time, it's that.
It is. It really does. Like, I'm not just saying that, but that truly does fill me up. I mean, of course, I spend a ton of time with my family. I love my family, my kids. They're awesome. Not perfect, but oh my goodness, I love the little people that they are. And being with family always refills me. Reading professional development refills me. And honestly, especially if you're talking about professionally, going to get your teach on, going to the spring retreat, those things fill, really, really fill me up. So
you get to spend time with like-minded people, and that's always, and in our daily lives, we may have people that we work with that we like and we get along with, but when you really find like your soulmate friends, anytime you can spend with them is beneficial.
Yes, absolutely. And this educational journey I have been on has given me those like soulmate friends that I don't know how, I would live without, really. So, I don't know. All that fills me up.
Well, shifting gears just a little bit, you share a really bird's eye view into your life on social media. You really share your family, you share your learning, and one thing you've shared over the last year or so is your journey through some health concerns. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, when did you start noticing that something was up?
I would say last summer. I think towards the end of the summer, I had gone down to visit my aunt in South Carolina. She lives there. Technically she lives in North Carolina, really at the border, on the beach. And I noticed that my legs and ankles are swelling up, and I just thought, I don't know what that's about, kind of gonna ignore it. And then by the time I got home from that trip, I was up like 15 pounds, and I had trouble moving my ankles and my knees because I was so swollen. And I'm like, could that be traveling? Am I getting older? Like, what's going on? And after a few days, I had a feeling that something wasn't right. So obviously I went to my regular doctor, and he immediately thought kidneys, and sent me to a nephrologist, started some tests. That would probably have been the end of August. And I actually went through a pretty intensive testing period for the next 3 to 4 months. And surprisingly to me, because I felt like I was pretty healthy, my test results were coming back so negative with such terrible results that the nephrologists didn't believe they were true. They kept thinking that there was lab error over and over and over again. And after about 3 or 4 months, they're like, this can't be right, but they couldn't figure it out. I was tested for every kidney disease that they could think of. They came back negative, but at the same time, I was getting results that were worse than people that were like literally passing away of kidney disease. So they were stumped. And finally, the last thing that they could think of to do was to go ahead and go in and do surgery. So at the end of January, I went in and had surgery and had like renal biopsies done. And they took several tissue samples out. And here, I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They couldn't really figure it out. They still couldn't figure out what was wrong. Obviously, they saw something was very wrong, but they didn't know what it was. And so they transferred those on to the Mayo Clinic, and they were able to diagnose me with a super rare disease called fibulary glomerulonephritis. There are lots of glomerulonephritises, but this type is super rare. So, yeah, I am one of 12 people in the United States with this disease. So.
One of 12?
Yes, yeah. So,
having this start in the summer and then going through the next 5 or 6 months not having answers. How did you personally, how did you work through that and handle that of just constantly going back and test after test, not getting an answer?
It was scary because, the results were bad enough. We knew something was bad, but we weren't sure what that was. So it was scary, but 100% hands down, my faith got me through it. God always has a plan. I'm a long range planner. I like to know what's going on ahead of time. I want to know exactly what's going on and all of that. And God continues to present opportunities to me to show me that I'm not necessarily in charge. However, he always has a plan. Even if it feels like it's not a good one, it always is. And so definitely hold on to that. And literally that's what got me through, and my support network, I would say. Funny, because I was actually going to a Bible study with one of my really great friends, who's also a great educator, who's also my principal now. And she, when my diagnosis came back, the first thing she said is, "Can I put this on Facebook and ask for prayers?" And I was like, "Nope, ain't gonna happen." And she was like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I don't know." It was so uncomfortable for me because I like to be the one taking somebody a meal. I like to be the one going and doing stuff to help other people. And it was super uncomfortable to admit that I needed help.
See, and that's one thing that I was going to ask, because that's very typical of people who will give of themselves completely and bend over backwards to help others. In the moment when they need help, it's very hard to allow that help to come in, because you're thinking, "No, I'm the fixer. I don't want to. I want to go fix somebody else. Now I'm the one that needs help." And so how did you work through that? Because you got to a point where you were very publicly sharing your journey and how you got through there. And so obviously that's a path to get to that point.
Well, I got to that point like this. My friend Michelle said, "Holly, get over yourself. This is about you. This is not about you. God allows challenging circumstances to bring him glory. As much as this situation is scary and bad and it's happening to you, the ultimate reason for this isn't you, it's him." And so he's providing us an opportunity to allow others to pray and serve. And right there, I'm like, okay, because that was exactly what was spoken about in the Bible study that we went to the week before. So I'm like, wow, that's a little humbling. Plus, sometimes you need that friend that gets in your face and is like, I'm calling you out. So, wow. So she did that, and I was so just humbled by the amount of people who would pray for me. I mean, people who weren't my best friends, people who I hardly knew, complete strangers. I mean, blew me away. At the time when I got my diagnosis, the doctors here still had no clue what to do about it because it's such a rare disease. There's no treatment. There's no cure. There's nothing. And there's very little research, even with the people who have had it. There's been I think 149 people worldwide since they found it. So there's just so little information. It's completely idiopathic. They can't find anything in common with the people who have it. There's just nothing. And so to be told, what we've seen is you have about 2 years until you hit end stage and there's nothing we can do for you. The tricky part about this disease is that it doesn't necessarily start in my kidneys. It kind of starts in my immune system, and it produces these crazy proteins in my body that destroy my kidneys. And so when that happens, you are automatically not eligible for a kidney transplant through the registry, because if you got a kidney, the disease would continue to attack that. And, kidneys are in high demand. So they want to get those people, obviously, that don't have the chance of it coming back, which I totally understand. So that was like, wow. Again, didn't know what to do with that, but knew God had a plan. So, prayers and prayers and prayers. To kind of wrap that up a little bit, I ended up going to the Mayo Clinic, and my doctors here said you can go, but they're not going to be able to tell you anything else because there just isn't any treatment for that. Went there, actually met with the head doctor who deals with the other 11 patients that had this. And he had just finished up a research study, literally like a couple weeks before, that had not been published. So no other nephrologists really knew about it, but they had found 2 tentative experimental treatments. And so I am currently on one of those. And the first one is kind of a low level one, just meant to give you a couple more months until you go into the second experimental treatment, which is basically chemo for the rest of your life. And it's complex. And of course, because it's experimental, it's not covered by insurances, and it's very complicated. But I have had amazing results. When I went back to my doctor for my biggest checkup, that was in May, the doctors just said, we have no medical explanation for what's happened. We've never seen results like this. And I just said, I don't need medical explanation. I know who's in control. And I just am so humbled by the prayers, because I know God hears everyone, and I'm living proof of that. And I'm just so grateful. And I am so blessed and thankful that I've had this opportunity to walk through this, because I've learned so much. And I'm feeling good. And I just had a whole bunch of tests done a couple of weeks ago, and I have a couple more coming up, but I have my big doctor check-in at the end of the month. So hoping for continued good news, but if not, God has a plan.
So, sharing this out there and being more public with your journey, what is something that you learned through doing that?
Wow, so much. I've learned that, everybody's struggling. It might not be kidney disease, but there's a lot of people out there that feel like they shouldn't share their struggles. And it's nice to be able to talk to people and say, I get that, because I felt that. But sometimes it's more than just you. When, that might be the opportunity for someone to serve. Maybe somebody wanted to serve, but maybe that doesn't come naturally to them and they don't know what to do. But if they can bring you a meal, while that's nice for you, that might be doing more for the person that was able to serve, because then they feel important. They feel like they've done something good. Holly, I've learned so much. The power of prayer. Just connecting with other people.
Something I want to ask is, somebody here put in the comments while we're talking right now, they saw you this summer at the conference and they wanted to ask how you were doing and they wanted to tell you thank you for sharing, but they didn't want to make you uncomfortable or it'd be weird to know that, I don't really know you, but I've been following you, so I've seen your journey. But she says, I've prayed for you several times. I continue to pray for you. So hearing that from people you've never met and how do you deal with, I'm so putting this out there that people I may not have met before are going to come and know a piece of me. How do you deal with that?
Well, I don't know if I really ever thought through all of that. That definitely has all come to fruition, but I am who I am, and I know that I'm not perfect, and but it's important to be real. And so all of this is part of my journey, is part of who I am. And I had no idea. I think part of it is I had no idea that so many people were watching or connected. I thought just my friends were checking it out on Facebook. And so I will say, I had at the national conference this summer, I had a lady come up to me and she said, I probably had 10 people come up to me and say, you don't know who I am. I've never talked to you, but I pray for you every night. And the way I respond is I just cry and then I hug them. I had one lady say, my son and I pray for you every single night. Oh my goodness, he's going to be so excited to hear that you were here. The next day she came and found me and asked me if I would Skype him. And his little face was like, oh. I can't even put into words what that does. It's so beyond humbling. And, now I know I'm able to look at that and reflect beyond a shadow of a doubt. I get why this happened. And no matter what happens in the future, if it's not good news, it's worth it because, if people are praying over this, that's worth it. If people are reconnecting, obviously I have a strong faith, but, or I try to have it, but that's important to me. I guess that's what I was trying to say. But, if that can help someone else grow that way, that's awesome. And just to see people caring about each other in a world that there's so much hate, that's awesome.
Well, I gotta say, that was one of the, there were two reasons I wanted to have you on the show. One is just your servant heart and just being so impressed by that. But then the other one is just the vulnerability. When I read your Facebook posts, I can tell it is straight from your heart. It is straight emotion, what you're going through, how you're dealing with it. And I think that really draws people into you. And even though, like you said, the what you're struggling with is an extremely rare disease, that doesn't mean that it's not reaching somebody, because disease and pain affects all of us. And so to see one person's journey, and I think one thing that when you share things like the journey that you're on right now, it's showing people that I'm not done with the journey. I still struggle. I still have days of worry. I have great days and great days of jubilation and celebration, but I have days that are really hard too, where I'm scared and I don't know what's going to happen next. I think that gives other people hope to go, okay, I'm struggling with this too, or somebody in my family is sick right now, or this or that, and I'm not the only person feeling the way that I'm feeling, that I'm able to connect with somebody in that way. And so I think that's very brave of you to put that out there, especially when I know it's not an easy thing to be that vulnerable or open. And I think it's one of those things too that I don't think, Holly, you will ever understand how many people are affected by a story or by a simple share thing, because for every single person that will reach out and say how much somebody sharing a story meant to them, there's hundreds of people who don't say a word because they don't know if it's their place or if they don't really feel comfortable telling the person, but it's still impacting. And that's the whole reason this series was started, was just to allow people that platform to be brave. And so I commend you for doing that. And I know that you've got lots of people praying for you and thinking about you as you continue the journey, because it's not a journey that's finished for you either, right?
No, and in this journey, I can look at parts of it now and know why God has me on it, because like I said, I like to know exactly what's going on. I want him to email me and tell me this is how it's going to end and all of that. And that's an area I need to grow in, because that's not going to happen. And there isn't an answer. There isn't a cure. There's not going to be. I don't know what the progression of things are going to be, but that's okay. And another thing I want to say is I am just so blessed. Yes, I have this going on, but I look at my situation and I cannot complain a bit. I mean, I have friends who have gone through cancer in the last year. I have a student right now, former student, who is battling leukemia like a warrior. And I look at how she feels every day and I think, I am so blessed not to have to go through the pain that she goes through. Life isn't perfect for me, but oh my goodness, I can't even complain. But like you were saying, even with the things you've gone through this year, not necessarily illness, but definitely loss. Everybody has that. Everybody does. And instead of sharing those things, a lot of times we keep that to ourselves, and I can't do it alone. I don't know how anybody can. And so I just want to encourage people to reach out for support. And sometimes it's not the person who teaches right next to you. I mean, there's a community of caring people here, and it's not hard to find on social media within teachers. But the other thing that I feel like is really important is that, and this is really difficult, I think, but when you are in a struggle, whether it be health, no matter what it is, and everybody has them, I really feel like there's a purpose in that. I personally don't believe that God is designing difficult, challenging situations to inflict pain on you. There are always lessons in them, and you always come out stronger. And so if you're able to step back and think, okay, what am I supposed to be learning here? I have learned so much through my little journey that I would not have learned otherwise. And I'm so thankful for those challenges. And no matter what you're going through, I'm not saying it's easy, and it doesn't hurt, because it does. But there's always something, I think, that you can learn and be better because of it.
Well, we almost got this episode without you making me cry, so thanks for that. I'm gonna make it the whole time. Then you're just talking, I'm like, oh God, I'm not gonna make it this time. But I think that's the perfect note to end on, is just that idea of when we go through these struggles, they're for a reason, and they don't feel good in the moment. And sometimes those struggles go on quite a while, but lean on others, reach out to others, and don't try to do it on your own, because we weren't designed to do that. So Holly, I adore you. You're one of my heroes that I look up to, and I'm so grateful that you agreed to come on tonight and share just a couple of pieces of your story and let some more people see you and your brilliance and your amazingness. So thank you, Holly, for coming on.
My pleasure. Oh my goodness. Everybody has to go out and grab your books, because they're filled with stories, just like the ones you're sharing. And that's why I love you, Todd. You're so genuine, so real. You find value in every single person. And I appreciate you letting me tell my little part of my story, which, by the way, when you asked me, I'm like, who's going to listen to me? I don't know.
I was like, no, you're not getting out of this, Holly. I want you as a guest. You have stuff to talk about.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And hopefully, I know I'll see you soon.
That's right. Just a couple weeks.
That's right.
So thank you for everybody else who is viewing or listening tonight's episode of Tell Your Story with Holly Ehle. You can follow her on social media, and you can probably just search Ehle Kindergarten and find her on there. Holly, you've also got a new Facebook page, which is Engaging the Standards, right?
Yep, that's right.
So check her out on Engaging the Standards. Make sure you pick up a copy of Stories from Web, the book that this chat is based after, filled with stories from educators from all walks of life, all at one school. And check out next week's episode with Michael Bonner. Everybody have a great evening.
Night.